So recently, a Conservative MP in Britain defected to the Labour Party because of Partygate and the catastrophic handling of this event and affair by Boris Johnson and his government. This is Bury South MP Christian Wakeford, who said, well, this wasn't a matter of deciding this morning. I want to be a Labour MP. This has been many months in the build-up. Imagine saying, I want to be a Labour MP. How embarrassing. Not that being Conservative MP is any less embarrassing, but just still. Whether it goes back to the issues over free school meals, over Dominic Cummings, over personal credit, over the cost of living crisis, the Owen Paterson affair, or now Partygate, there's been a lot of build-up and a lot of soul-searching that's taken many sleepless nights, but ultimately it's the right decision. I hope my former colleagues, certainly if they don't agree, they can certainly understand. It's his choice, of course. You know, I'm sure his constituents will be thrilled that they've voted for a Labour MP.
Do you know about his background on
I don't.
MP switching sides?
No.
He sponsored a bill that if an MP switched sides, there would be a by-election immediately.
I did see a lot of calls for a by-election. I just assumed that was people being salty.
Yeah, he called for it several years ago. And then when he's actually switched sides, he's like, well, no, not for me.
Yeah, well, I definitely suspect that they need a by-election because Bury South had been Labour solidly until from 1997 until he won the election with only a small majority of like 400 votes. Yeah, so let's have that by-election. But anyway, Keir Starmer is certainly happy about this. Of course, welcomed him in, saying, I'd like to welcome Christian Wakeford to the Labour Party. I'm determined to build a new Britain which guarantees security, prosperity, and respect for all, and I'm delighted that Christian decided to join us in this endeavour. I personally really don't want Starmer's administrative vision of a new Britain. I preferred the old one. But if you can get up that image there, that would be, there we go. So you see this nice welcome image that the Labour team have put together. For some reason, they can't use a single straight line. I don't know why. It's just, cool and edgy, I guess. But of course, this didn't play well with the radical left, who occupy still a significant portion of the Labour Party. People like the official Momentum Twitter account, which is Jeremy Corbyn's black shirts, took to Twitter to explain Wakeford's pedigree of crimes. They said he voted against enabling domestic abuse victims to have access to benefits irrespective of immigration status, as in domestic abuse victims from overseas should be paid for by the British taxpayer. Voted against addressing austerity, climate change and work insecurity, against preserving EU worker rights, and voted down reforms for social care.
Not the EU anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Voted down reforms social care, including making personal care free. And he said no to affordable and safe housing and ending tax avoidance loopholes, blah, 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 blah. Labour cannot be the party of change at the next election and welcome a Tory MP to their benches who has consistently voted against progressive policies and consistently with a disastrous Tory government. So he did things that we don't like. Okay? Don't care. You're a bunch of communists. And Owen Jones decided to post this particular meme on Facebook. Right? Welcome Sauron, Labour MP for Mordor East. First point. Barad-dûr is in the northwest of Mordor. Idiots, right? I mean, if anyone who knew anything about Tolkien would know that, of course. I mean, even me, and I'm not someone who's like an expert on Tolkien, but of course these people are wearing the meme as a skin suit. But what's he trying to say here? That Chris Wakeford is some kind of Sauron joining the Labour Party, that evil people will be welcomed into the Labour Party? Wakeford is clearly not some kind of radical, and Owen is clearly not aware of the meme that everyone thinks that the radical left are Sauron and his minions already. After all, what if Sauron were just to say trans rights?
I mean, you'd have to endorse it.
They'd have to endorse it. They would literally have no choice. And we have many, many examples of them endorsing the villain because he says something the same. For example, there's a long history of this. So you've got Maleficent, which is the evil queen from Sleeping Beauty. Did an entire series of films on her, right? This is a quote from one review on The Independent. A sly feminist makeover of Sleeping Beauty. The film posited that its villain wasn't so much of a villain at all, but a woman whose trust had been violated in the most destructive of ways. Go and watch Sleeping Beauty and tell me if the evil queen isn't the villain. Honestly, right? It gets better. Is Chucky the newest gay icon? Chucky the serial killer trapped in a doll? But do you know why?
I don't know if I can say without saying something incredibly homophobic.
Well, say it in a way that's not.
I have no idea. Like, do they think that gay people go out and kill everyone or stab them in the back or something?
No. It's because Chucky said trans rights.
What?
basically it.
Wait, Chucky's a girl? Or
No, Chucky's a male.
Right.
But he said, gay rights, basically.
what, in the film?
Yeah.
What?
Like, listen, it's a show. I think it's a TV show now, but it's like the show is bloody campy fun. But one moment in particular has caught the attention of LGBTQ plus fans. In episode
Fans
2
of Chucky.
No, hang on. In episode 2, no, it's fans of LGBTQ, right? Give me something good to eat. Jake attempts to convince Chucky to stop his murdering spree. He's in the middle of a murdering spree, right? That's not what the LGBTQ community is concerned about. But Chucky flips it around on him, appealing to his outsider status and offering a supportive ear. He says, I had a queer kid, says Chucky. You have a kid? Gender fluid, he replies, referring to Glenn Glenda of the Seed of Chucky movie. And you're cool with it, says Jake. And he says, I'm not a monster, Jake. Wow.
I'm murdering people.
But I didn't misgender my gender fluid child. That's all it takes to become a gay icon.
A queer icon.
If you're a murderous, evil demon, that's fine, as long as you're not misgendering someone. As long as you say trans rights, that's all it takes, right? And one commenter, apparently in this article, they say, if a supernaturally possessed murderous doll can say gay rights, so can you. So I don't want to do anything. The
I want to
murderous...
see that on a poster.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a campaigning poster.
Exactly, right?
If Chucky can vote Labour, why can't you?
This is not the only murderous demon that they've adopted as a gay rights icon, right? A queer icon. The Babadook is the villain of an Australian film that came out in 2014. There's, of course, a terrifying monster. In fact, we have a tweet from Carlos Maza in this article. Babadook, I'm a terrifying monster that destroys families that try to suppress me. Gay people. Oh my God, same. Drinks later. That's Carlos Maza.
Of course it is. The socialist.
Self-report. But it gets better. Pennywise, the evil clown. He is also a gay icon. He only rips off the arms of children.
Why are all the murderers gay?
Yeah. Why are all the murderers gay? No, not just gay. Gay icons.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they're queer.
Yeah. And he's dating the Babadook, because why not? I mean, if you're just going to adopt all of the positions of the villains, okay, weird. These evil guys who are murdering everything, they're our guys.
Doesn't Pennywise, stalk kids as well?
Yep. Evil murderous clown that stalks kids.
And the left are like, that's my boy.
Yep. Carlos Maza's like, hey, me too. And so it seems that they are essentially so totally devolved morally at this point. They're lost in the hatred. And this was really on show with something called the New Guy meme. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because PewDiePie got his house burgled. And because PewDiePie is a wealthy and successful person, some SJW made a comic about it, where if you can scroll down, I don't know whether you can see the actual full thing. It's only one panel. You can scroll down a bit. There we go. Where the new guy at work, he's saying, well, she's laughing at the fact that a multi-millionaire gamer bro douchebag totally got robbed. Ha, ha, ha. And he's like, well, how would you feel if you were robbed? And she was like, oh, we're going to be good friends. And he's like, wow, really? And she's like, hell no. And literally this went totally viral because everyone was like, yeah, but he's the good guy. You're the villain.
The leftist in the comic is freaking evil.
Yes. And that's exactly right. And we actually have a podcast on this on Lotus, but I didn't get it up because it would have explained why. But anyway, so this is the point. The new guy to her is being the villain and PewDiePie is being the villain, despite being an apparently virtuous man. But most importantly, out of all of these people who are villains, we come to this. Is Lord of the Rings prejudiced against orcs?
Oh, God.
Isn't that what Sauron would ask?
These are my people.
They are his people. They are exactly his people. This was an article from 2018 in Wired magazine, in a leftist outlet, about a guy called Andy Duncan who wrote a book called Senator Bilbo. Senator Bilbo first appeared in 2001, but its references to border walls and a Shire-first policy make it seem more relevant than ever. I would vote for Senator Bilbo.
Yeah, who wouldn't? The Shire's lovely.
Well,
keep protected.
Sauron wouldn't.
No.
Maybe he'd even join the Labour Party.
Tear down these walls, build bridges to Mordor, not walls.
Yeah, exactly. Says Sauron Corbyn. Duncan says because the story deals with themes that are unfortunately timeless. In many ways, Trump was unique, but in many ways, we've seen his light before. We've seen forces that he's tapped into in the ascendancy before. Yes, he's tapped into forces that say maybe foreigners shouldn't be allowed to destroy the Shire. I think that's good. It's hard to miss the repeated notion in Tolkien that some races are just worse than others, or that some peoples are just worse than others. And this seems to me in the long term, if you embrace this too much, it has dire consequences for you and your society.
That's such a weird position, because you're looking at the orcs destroying everything, and you're like, yeah, that's just what orcs do.
It's diversity.
No, but you could also argue that's incredibly racist against the orcs from the author.
Yes.
What? Whoa. You're just looking at the banners. Why don't you look at all the universities the orcs are building, presumably elsewhere?
In Mordor, yeah, exactly. It's racist against orcs, you see. And so anyway, this all stems from the book club that we will be doing soon on Rousseau's Discourse of Inequality. Because it's very interesting that Rousseau has this premise that man isn't really born good or evil. He is made evil by society, right? From his Discourse on Inequality in part 1, he says, it would seem that because in the state of nature men have no kind of moral relationships to each other, nor any recognized duties that would be neither good nor evil and could have neither vices nor virtues. Let us not conclude with Hobbes that man is naturally wicked because he has no idea of goodness, or vice-ridden because he has no knowledge of virtue. Savages are not wicked precisely because they do not know what it is to be good. So that's why the orcs aren't evil. They don't know what it is to be good, so we can't call them evil. So, what if they're just evil? But that'd be prejudice. He credits man with one natural virtue, pity. It's like, okay, where's the pity in the orcs? Right? And so you see this, you might be like, well, hang on a second, that was written 300 years ago. I'm not going to hear a leftist saying that now, am I? Am I? Except you exactly will. Let's play this clip.
Stardust and aristocracy aren't good people. They're not good people. They're toxic people, and I hate them.
I thought we didn't label people as good or bad.
Yeah, but they're fucking morally disgusting people. They're bad people.
I thought.
Wait, what did I do? What the?
So this is just online leftists having a spat in their own stupid little communities where they've been cyberbullying each other and being awful to them. And so they've got to be like, well, look, that person's a bad person. They're morally disgusting. I know we didn't call people good or evil. Why? Why would you not call people good or evil? Who has ever in the history of mankind, other than Rousseau, said that there was a point where man was neither good nor evil? No one. That's the only place I can ever find this. And so they've returned to this position of like the moral state of nature where society is the corrupting force and they bear no responsibility for their own decisions. Even though this person's like, well, look, I just can't accept that. They were acting badly. They must be responsible for the things they do. They can't avoid it. But so this whole line of thought, and this is all leftist thought, assumes that anyone who's successful must be evil in some way because society is the corrupting force. That's what is evil. And so it's what creates the vice. But the thing is, and let's just be perfectly clear about this, leftists, if that's true of you, if that's true of me, if that's true of the orcs, why should Sauron be any different? How could you resist Sauron if he just said trans rights? In the same way you wouldn't resist murderous dolls and like the hordes of orcs that are invading Gondor, why should Sauron be any different? Owen. And the thing is, this is such a long-standing meme, like go and look up hashtag #OrcWatch on your favorite social media platform. You can see this everywhere. Like this, like just this constant meme of, can you get this picture up, John? Just so you see, like, it's like you guys are the ones who are arguing for those people who come to these our countries and then do terrible things. This is just a constant meme. If we can go to the next one.
I mean, do you remember when we were doing deportations via planes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were sending a bunch of guys. I think one plane to Jamaica was prolific for this as well.
Yep.
Had like a couple of murderers on it, a bunch of rapists, and there were lawyers at the last minute defending the rapists and whatnot, being like, whoa, they haven't had their human rights checked yet. I was like, but they're convicted. We're sending them back to Jamaica.
That's literally it.
There were people jumping in front of the planes to stop the planes from leaving.
We know they've done something wrong. Yeah, but. And it's like, yeah, but you're saying they weren't really responsible for that. Society made them do it. That's what you're saying. The vices are only because we are civilized men and these uncivilized men have no vices. So it's totally wrong. And of course, all of their rhetoric, we can get this picture up as well, it fits perfectly with any kind of left-wing rhetoric. Discrimination at Minas Tirith. Xenophobic inhabitants openly admit that orcs aren't welcome there.
How could the men of the West do this?
Yeah, exactly. How could they do this to our perfect orcs who are running around getting convicted for murders? It's unbelievable. And you see this rhetoric exactly in Momentum. Right, let's go to the next one. This is just their pinned tweet. Breaking. Conservatives' new bill would give them the power to deport 2 out of 5 non-white people in England and Wales. This racist bill must be opposed. Well, because illegal immigrants would get deported?
But there are plenty of white ones as well.
Yeah.
They're not mentioned there.
Exactly.
Racial
There'd be
nationalism.
loads of Eastern Europeans who'd be deported too.
But like, we're talking about criminals.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, but they're our people.
They're perfect. They did nothing wrong. Anything that happened to them was systemic racism, as in the society around them made them evil. And so their terrible crimes of, the Jamaicans who had committed murders and stuff, well, that's your fault. You're a racist. And this has been well parodied in the Facebook page, The Daily Gondor. Can you get the post up that I actually got there? In the doc, I replaced that one with a post. It's again shockingly apt because all of leftist rhetoric creates this framework. Mouth of Sauron warns of a backslide in orc rights if Mordor falls.
I suppose that has been.
Of course it does. But anyway, go give the Daily Gondor a follow. It's really, really funny. And Sauron says trans rights, and so he must be accepted into the Labour Party because he is now a progressive.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to subscribe to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this video, which is Critical Race Theory Explained number 4 from Carl. He's going through and explaining critical race theory, which if you don't know about, you will have to, unfortunately, so go and give it a watch. But if you'd like to find out what else is coming out on the website, you can always follow us on Getter, and for example, you can follow Harry here at Harry Lotus Eater on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.